or 4 different things that like are important to go over, and we're gonna like write out exactly how he says them and just memorize those. You know, obviously Josh is for like the listing side and the buyer side. Yeah, most of the stuff, you know, we've talked about before, but there's more detail in here. So we're gonna, I guess we'll play the recording and then we'll kind of like identify, like as the recording goes on, what, like when he's doing what stuff, and then you'll hear us with the scripting on it as well.
Okay, so we have, this is a meeting from this past Friday that I went on with Tara. This is the second meeting. Tara did the first meeting by herself, scheduled a second meeting under the premise that we would come back and present sort of a game plan for what we would do if we were gonna list their house for sale. So this was not, this was it was pretty traditional, just kind of listing presentation, not kind of the reluctant buyer scripting, but a lot of the scripting is going to be the same, kind of within those two. So I'm going to play a segment from the game.
And then, you know, and Mark, you might want to consider doing this too. I mean, there'll be times, I don't know, does that ever happen? Are there ever times where like you
just like a straight up listing presentation?
Well, no, like where you meet with someone and like how many times are you scheduling second appointments, I guess, in general?
Not too often yet. I mean, I think I've got like a couple that are going to be coming up here soon, but I haven't been on any second appointments.
Are there any appointments you can think of where like doing a second appointment? You know, you weren't thinking about it at the time, obviously, but like just looking back, where doing a second appointment might have been helpful.
Yeah, just like trying to set it up in person as opposed to just waiting and catching up with them on the phone.
Yeah,
it's been a lot easier to set it up at that first meeting.
Yeah, and if it's, you know, a decent prospect and a decent price point, then, you know, you potentially have Kevin go with you on a second meeting if it's what you think should close, but like you're having a hard time with it.
Right.
For some reason, you know, if you try to leave the door sort of open and don't tell them what we think it's going to sell for, it'd be sort of the main hook, or whatever you can, or whatever else you think, and then you could potentially have them come and help with, you know, on a few of those.
Okay, so these people, Friday, it's a couple, they have at least five children that I saw. And they're interested in moving, but they don't really, you know, they were kind of skeptical about, you know, whether their house would sell because it's been outdated. It's fine, it's nice, it's clean, but it's a little bit outdated. They didn't really know the best way to go about selling it. They did know somebody that was an agent, so there was some kind of typical roadblocks in the way, you know, with these people.
So my partner and I, John, started this company back in 2010, and most of it was figuring out what the price should be, right? And it's sort of learned over time and learned the hard way that you know, whenever you
Where's your system like?
sales, it's a MLS, right? This website that all the agents have access to. And once it's online on the MLS, every single day that it's on there, it's a matter of public record. And if you drop the price, just like we saw the one across the street had a contract that fell through, had a contract, everything is a matter of public record once it's listed. So if somebody is seeing, you know, a lot of people's tendency is to overprice their house because, you know, it's understandable. They want to get like the highest price possible. So people's kind of knee-jerk.
And these people had told Tara in the first meeting. Tara had their house is maybe 400, 390, 400, something like that. Tara had said I think like 390 to 420 was a range, and they said that sounded low to them in the first meeting. So I'm talking about pricing. We looked at some comps on the iPad, and now I'm kind of going through the pricing to help try and calibrate their expectations. This is minute 25 of the meeting, so pretty early on.
Reaction is to price it at sort of the top end of what it should sell for, maybe a little higher. And then what inevitably happens is it sits on the market. And so sort of the worst outcome you can have on the market is that it's been on the market for 62 days and you drop the price twice, it really it's a bad outcome. People reckon are going to see it, and they're not going to feel compelled to put in their best offer if you've just been sitting, yeah. So, we try and sort of generally do the opposite, try and price it exactly right. Have one open house, have everybody come through, and everybody sees one another at the open house, and their agents are saying, yeah, this is priced, at a point that it's going to sell, and you sort of force their hand, right? You're sort of forcing them to put in their best and final offer. And what we'll do with our open house is we'll say, hey, you got to put in your best offer by Monday, and we'll let you know on Tuesday. Situation. You've heard this before, right? I heard this almost verbatim in the recording we listened to last Tuesday, right? I mean, it's almost the exact same script. I mean, I say it in most meetings, and the wording, I mean, if you looked at the transcript from this meeting and the other meeting, it's going to be almost identical. So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about in terms of practicing your scripting, and we're going to help you, as we talked about, we're going to be giving you more specific scripting, but you've heard it twice now, if not more times, and it's basically the same thing every time. So there should be things that you can say in your sleep, right? Like the way you gesture, what you enunciate, what you emphasize, you should be able to do that. It's like second nature. And this pricing conversation, you should be able to have, like, sleepwalking. You should be able to do it with anybody. So anyway, so that's my thought, and I don't know. It's always hard. We've sold, I think, 186 houses now. Again, as we talked about last time, coming from the investor perspective, you want to demonstrate expertise. That's one of the general principles here. I think that one of the most effective ways to do that is to do it from a position of like a reluctant buyer-ish, an investor, where you're sort of talking about it from your own perspective, and you're dropping in things like that rather than just flashing it in their face type thing. And we still spend a lot of time figuring out the price and doing something soon because it's so important. And go ahead.
No, so what guidance?
So the comments. So this is good, right? This is a good sign. It's 26 minutes into it. I've been, babbling about pricing, and he asked me a question. So that's a great sign, right? Like he's engaged, he's listening, he wants to know more information. If you get a question from somebody, not only is that a good sign, but you want to address that question head on. So the first thing you need to do is answer their question, right? Like tackle it, answer it immediately, and then give them, tell them whatever it is they're asking, and then give them the explanation behind it. So you're addressing whatever it is that they want to know, and you're doing it thoroughly. Because if they ask a question that they've just told you something that they are interested, they care about, right? They're giving you a signal.
Well, it's also it's a buying signal, obviously as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, he's interested enough to start inquiring about what the coming soon is. So he's considering the possibility of us selling the house for him.
Is through this website, Zillow. And what that means is we take pictures of our houses, we put it up on Zillow as a coming soon. It's not listed. So like the clock hasn't started, it's not public record, it's just coming soon. But we can associate a price with it. So if we had a house that we wanted to sell for $400,000, we put through the coming soon, we have all the pictures up on it on Zillow and say like $399, whatever the price we thought. And we've learned over the years based on the number of people who are clicking on that house on the website.
So I use this as an opportunity to reinforce, this pricing idea. So we want them to list at like $399. So my hypothetical is $399, $400. Like I'm not talking about their house, but I'm basically using the same numbers. And so I think it can be helpful, a helpful way to sort of, breathe life into what the point that you're trying to make about pricing, without directly, talking about their house specifically. Even though you're using the same numbers, I think it's a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit easier for people to stomach when it's an example, not their house.
I think that you can see that we have a membership at Zillow. So we see, we've learned over time based on how much activity there is around the coming soon, like how many people clicked it, how many people saved it, how many people texted us, emailed us, inquired, et cetera, if we're kind of in the right spot. Because if a house is priced right, we should be getting about 100 or so inquiries, clicks, but not a day. And if it's not priced right, we'll know, because we'll get like 30 or 25. It only takes a few days to find out. And so we do that for every single house that we sell, even if we're pretty confident on the price, because it costs nothing to do, and we always end up getting more information. Start with. It only takes a few days, and then when we do put it on the market, at least we can do it with that much more confidence that we price it correctly. So I generally recommend that for anybody selling a house, that's a step that they take with whomever they need to work with, because there is sort of no substitute for the market feedback. And then you get that data and you say, and then you have the opportunity to take a step back.
Again, there's the kind of like soft pedal, right? Like I could see from their body language they liked, they were kind of interested, they liked the concept, and then you say, I recommend it to everybody. You're sort of saying, I think it's a good idea, no matter who you work with, right? But it's still, you're not, there's no pressure. It's still pretty early in the meeting, like minute 28, so you're basically still kind of in education mode, in my view. And
Yeah.
so you're not pressing them, that you're not trial closing them. You're just sort of gauging their response and still kind of soft pedaling the whole thing.
Coming soon for a week, and let's say we figure out where the price we think it is based on feedback on coming soon. Then you can say, you know what, that's a price I can live with, or I don't like that price. You have the chance to evaluate it before you take the next step, and that gives you kind of an opportunity to test the waters, sort of consequence-free, right? Because you're not up on the MLS, you haven't.
So what is like powerful about the coming soon? Like you don't want to, it's not right for everybody, but what is sort of the hook? Why does it work, or why is it effective with so many people?
There's no risk as far as am I pricing my house too high or low. It's a way to find out before actually making the decision to go live or not.
Well, okay. So we're positioning it like this is price discovery, and that's critical. But and most people, I think, are they're going to appreciate that, they're going to like that, but it's really more for our benefit to help temper their expectations about the price that the house should be listed at. So what is it about the coming soon process that is sort of alluring, setting the price discovery piece aside, that makes people willing to kind of do this with us?
It's free information. It's of value to them without the expectation that they have to get something back.
Yeah, there's no commitment, right? Like it's a baby step. You're not listing it, but you're getting some information, and it's free. It's just a baby step towards the end goal, right? And you can say, like what I said here, then you have an opportunity to take a step back and say, hey, is what the market is telling us is that the price is going to be somewhere around here. Either you like that price or you don't. It basically says, you still have a chance to not do this. But these people are going to sell their house. And once you've got them going with the coming soon and everything, pictures and what have you, they're probably going to go forward with it. So it's a good way to, reduce in their mind the commitment level initially, but get them sort of signed up, get the ball rolling. So I think that's what's most powerful about it, because people feel like they can sign up, but they haven't signed their life away.
Unless they're, you know, taking all these steps where all this information now is public record.
For how long is it you think from that?
We do it for a week.
Just one.
We do it for a week. We can, you know, we'll know very, very quickly if it's priced right. And then if it's not, we'll kind of tweak we can change it. We'll change the price a little bit. Sometimes we have to move it up, you know, and I mean, obviously that's the best case scenario, but you know, or we'll adjust it as we see based on the feedback. And then once we've kind of figured it out, it takes about a week usually, then we'll take it down and then move forward with it. Yeah, so it's a really nice tool because it's quick, it's costs nothing, and you get really
It's
good
an idea.
information. And then you can take that, you know, so we know like whenever we have a house, we're gonna sell it no matter what, you know, but we want to make sure we have it at the right price so it sells fast. But for, you know, somebody like in you guys' position, you can say, okay, you take this information, let's say the market says it's like 405, you know, maybe that's good. Maybe you'd be happy with that. You said, you know, let's move forward with it. But if the feedback says you know, it's more like 390, you say, I'm not so sure, right? And that way
Will you put the coming soon for pictures from the set?
yes. Mm-hmm. And so we have our own photographer that's one of my employees who takes photographs of all of our new houses and any houses that we're listing for anyone. She would come, take pictures of everything, and you know, go room by room with you to make sure everything is kind of like in order. She does, you know, that's what all she does. So and then she edits the pictures and it makes them look great, you know, light, like things. Yeah, and then so we have, 40 pictures that we put up on the coming soon with the price, and then every time somebody clicks it, looks at it, anything, we can see that, and people can give us feedback about the house, and invariably people will be contacting us like, hey, when is it going live? And
So
what-
there's option to text you or
yeah, they would
something.
call, text, or email, and they say, hey, you know, if people are excited about those, hey, can we put it on for now before you put it live? Can we put it on the house? You know, like, so you get a lot of nibbles at it. You know, it's a good way to sort of see what people think.
Okay, if we choose to do this coming soon, and then we change our mind, we don't stay anymore. How much we charge?
Nothing. So it's good because, you know, we don't want you to sell the house unless you're happy with the price that you're gonna get. And before we even try and sell the house, it makes sense, at least I think in my mind, to figure out where our very, very best guess based on market feedback, what we think that it would sell for if we tried to do it. And that way, we've explored the pricing and you guys can decide. And that way you haven't really lost anything, but you certainly got more information and you can make a more informed decision. And we, you know, I think our you know, priority is to make sure that if we did move forward, we did put it on the MLS, that we did so kind of put eyes open and felt like we knew what we were going to be getting. So we decided. Go ahead.
What's the duration?
Remodeling. So they asked like a ton of questions about, you know, about everything. So, you know, she says she wanted to know what the commitment was, and he was like, if we do the coming soon, do we have to remodel the house? You know, I don't even know what that means, but that's a common objection that you get, not necessarily around coming soon, but you know, or should we be doing it? We thought we should do a couple things to the house before we sell it to make it more appealing, right? That's something that comes up in the listing context all the time. Oh, like I want to wait because I'm still gonna paint, I'm still gonna I need to finish doing this, or whatever it is, right? You know, so that's something, and that's on the document you have there. It's a super common objection. There's different ways we can talk about scripting, you know, to get around that, but you should be prepared for that in any listing meeting. That's something that is like in the top 3 objections.
If you were that's coming soon, listing issues and on the draft, open have some people can see. Yeah, it's still not as public.
There's nothing,
Like for example, like see that it's all that. So we can see that if you're doing that remodel of that more.
Yes, you think about when you put this coming soon, at that time frame, you're working on it, you're working to remodel it or do something.
So they thought, I guess this question was, if it's coming soon, does that mean that people will think that you're like renovating it? And then you're gonna put it on the market? I think that's how his wife interpreted this question.
And you just said, you know, he said, we're gonna take like nice pictures, just to get feedback from people and see if they're okay with the price or not.
yeah,
As
it is.
maybe just the decoration, maybe furniture, just to make it look nice. That's what we need to do.
There's going to be,
Right.
that's exactly, nobody is going to think that there's going to be changing it. So that you're saying, hey, what do you guys think about the house in this condition? You know, and that way you'll get feedback about it, you know, as it is right now. And so what I would do is, so Deb is our photographer, and so here, and this is not something that I would do in most meetings, but I felt like they were like overly concerned about the way that the house looked in terms of it being outdated. You know, it was clean and everything, but definitely outdated, and you know, some of their decorations I think were for their taste, and I'm not sure if that was part of their concern. I think they had serious concerns about how the house was going to present through pictures and to people if they didn't, you know, make some meaningful changes to the interior. So, so I talked about like light staging here, and it's not something that I would do in most meetings, but I felt like it was necessary to kind of get them over the hump here. So that's why I did it.
And then you lost me. What did you guys notice when you were describing the coming soon initially? What you like, not like, whatever about it? What did you notice about it?
One thing I liked was when he said that there's no substitute for market feedback. It being like the most interactive way for them to get information is as sellers. They could probably in the back of their head know that they have a price in mind, but not necessarily know if that price is, you know, based on anything real. And so the non-commitment, along with him saying there is no substitute, that market feedback will give them like, you know, more information.
Yeah, that's good. What else? Anyone else notice anything?
I thought the metrics were powerful because it kind of walked them through step by step. This is exactly why the coming soon works.
Metrics like the number of views and all
The
that
number
stuff.
of views,
Mhm.
the number of clicks, the ability to go back, tweak the price, go up and down. Just walking through in a layman's terms, explanation of why the coming soon work. Those technical details without being technical. Those metrics were very, those details were very powerful.
Yeah, and that's part of what he does a lot is gets like quite specific. You know, with everything, like even to the number of views that you're gonna get on the coming soon, and that like helps make it, I think, more real in people's minds, and also is just taking up more time and helping you just be there longer as well. But I mean, the biggest thing I think is just the extra detail. That makes it just a lot more, just a lot more real, a lot more tangible.
You can't come back and say, hey, my house is worth $450 if you're only getting 10 clicks. I mean, you can't come back. It really, I think really puts out the emotional pricing that most homeowners have.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else? How long did he say he was going to do the coming soon for? Yeah. Why? Why do you say that? Why do you have a time frame for it?
We have 3 weeks, you don't want them to stretch it out and drag it on for this full 3 weeks.
Exactly. You want to say this is how long you typically will have it up for is a week. And then after that, it goes, you can decide, but after that, if you want to do it, it would go live. So it's not like a 3 or 4 week coming soon, which obviously you want to avoid. What about, okay. What about the photographer thing? How did he position the photographer? Yeah. And what's that whole positioning? You remember, Mark? Like the Kerry Scholl thing? The difference between this and this? What's that whole positioning?
I'm not sure.
Like the photographer being a part of our team?
It's like all inclusive, like we can, pretty much everything's in house, like we can do it all needs that they have, we can pretty much take care of and address.
Yeah, one-stop shop, and then as opposed to what? What's the other alternative for an agent? Right, like a one-man show. Right. So right, instead of the one-man show agent who's sort of like doing everything, we have people who work at our company who can take care of all these different aspects for you. The in-house photographer, the in-house stager. We have our own contractors and handymen that do exclusive work for us that can do minor updates for you at cost. You just have to pay for it, but at our cost. So it's a better deal, and it's good quality work. So yeah, that's another like differentiator sort of.
Well, the staging is something we're throwing in as well. We're not billing them for that, right? Because that's like somebody on staff, so that's just what we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, you want to be a little bit careful when you use it, because we still have to pay the person in reality. But yeah, if you think that'll get a listing done, then it's definitely worth it.
That particular case, I know that was our appointment, that I could see why it was appropriate, because it was already a nice, clean house. They obviously take care of it. And that little thing was enough to get them to go ahead and sign the agreement.
I think that was what ultimately pushed it over the edge. I think that was their biggest concern was how it was going to show. And from our perspective, I think there's probably going to be a lot of benefit to having a little bit of staging in that house. I think it's just going to be kind of tough to sell, but kind of have it decorated right now. But anything that you didn't like could be better.
I'm wondering why you said something.
I don't know. I can't remember if you said that it was free, but she asked like how much it would cost if she backed out. So I don't know. Maybe you could like make that more, since that seems like it'd be important for them to like know that they're getting this all for free. They might have just misunderstood or missed it, but
yeah, that's a fair point. That's something that definitely needs to come out. If she hadn't asked that question, I would say, I think I may have said it at some point. I can't
You
remember.
did. She asked how much it
It
would
costs
cost.
nothing. Well, before that, I think I was like, it costs nothing to do, but you end up getting more information than you have now. I think I normally put that line in there at some point, but it is relevant because to the extent that I did say that, she didn't hear it, and that's a pretty important point. So, I don't like, I want to make it seem like we're here to do everything for free, but you do want to make sure that they understand that that part of the service is no cost. Anything else? Toby?
How did you transition it to the point where you were talking about pricing? And I would have liked to hear that.
So I
know it was like minute 25. You were just
before that, yeah. So I had that. I came and sat in between them on the couch, and then I had the iPad, and we looked at on Zillow. We looked at the map and looked at 2 houses that sold across the street, and one was like 425, one was 375, and the 425 is like totally redone. The 375 was probably a condition that was, a step down from their house. So it helped, like, I think, kind of bookend the price point for the neighborhood. And then I think it also helped kind of demonstrate that, there was no way that they were gonna say that their house, reasonable way they would say that their house was like 425, just because that would have been totally done. But I thought it was like pretty helpful, especially after Tara's first meeting where they told her that maybe 420 sounded low.
Or 10.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
That's
so
how you-
to help kind of bring them to reality that it should be around 400, maybe a little less.
Were there any indicators that they were still open to a cash offer? So I guess that's more motivation specific at this point.
Yeah, I don't
it's not realistic.
I don't think so. Yeah, I wasn't at the first meeting, but they're already gonna take a loss on the house to buy it in 2005.
Oh,
And they are buying another house and they want to buy a bigger house. And, price was pretty important to them. So I don't think there was like play there. I didn't get that feeling at all.
okay. Were they already financially committed to the new house already?
Nope.
With any pressing timelines or anything?
No.
Okay. Okay.
The other thing too is a lot of times, people are calling us from these letters and postcards that we send out because they think they don't want to sell with an agent. They think they don't want to deal with showings and deal with fixing up the house. People coming through the house all the time. A lot of these inconveniences, and a lot of the pitch that we're doing is like minimizing those things. Like you don't have to update it; you can just sell it as it is. People don't even know that. We can even do some like late staging for you if you're concerned about, so you don't have to deal with like kind of decorating, even like redecorating. We can just do the one open house the first week that it's active, as long as it's a good price. We're going to generate a lot of activity. We can just do the one open house. Everyone comes through the house at one time on like a Saturday afternoon or whatever, and you have multiple people coming through. It's an opportunity to generate multiple offers in that situation if it's priced well. And then your house is sold after essentially what is one showing. So they get the benefits of the higher price, selling with an agent without the downsides, having to fix stuff up, having to have multiple showings again. And then you can show them even after the commissions and closing costs and all that stuff, they're still going to net, much more than what any investor is going to pay them for the house. So with someone like that, where the price is really important to them, there's no reason, they're going to end up selling with an agent if they're going to sell, So there's no reason for them not to sell it that way.
Do
you have a question, Josh?
Yeah, is there a reason you looked at the comps on Zillow rather than the MLS?
Yeah, I think, I don't think it matters tremendously, but I like doing it on the iPad on Zillow because I think it's a little more user friendly for the seller. You can show them the map and they can see where their house is, and like you can just touch the dots and see like a picture of the house instead of someone will come up. It's quicker, more interactive. I think it's easy for them to sort of comprehend. You can say, "Oh, do you know this house?" Oh, yeah, it is. I think it's just sort of more interactive, user friendly.
You can do that with HomeSnap too.
What?
HomeSnap. It's an MLS product. They
Okay.
all the time. In fact, I used it on my list before now.
Oh, did you?
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah,
I'll show it to you.
Okay,
It's really
that's good.
cool.
That might be.
And it's real data.
Yeah, that might be better.
One thing that I had trouble with last night at my meeting last night was I did that. I went to Zillow. At least I haven't found a way where you can filter by date. I mean, there is stuff showing up from 2015,
Yeah.
16, 17. And I said that, you can see a lot of solds here. But, I tried to find the bookends and was able to do, I actually did that before I went to the meeting. So I knew what I was going to say. But you can't filter by date on Zillow.
I think you can. I can show you
Okay.
if you want to make it a much shorter time period for some reason. That
Well, recent solds are the real benchmark, like last 6 months, right?
I think that goes back like 18 months.
Okay,
But you can change that.
okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do a video of him going through how he goes through the comps as well, and we'll check out how Snapseed might be better to use than Zillow.
Yeah.
We'll do a video too, and then put it up in the Google Drive so you guys can see how he does it.
I don't have with regard to like so again, sort of an eye for her. But if you'd like, she'll come out and do a walkthrough with you prior to doing the picture and say, hey, you know, maybe we could, you know, adjust this and we'll clear this off. And so he'd give you like a list of things that, you know, would be most helpful to do before she comes back. And it's not going to be anything. It's just like maybe move the lamp over here, just little stuff. And that way you know what, you know, the best things to do before she comes and takes the pictures. Then she'll come and do the pictures, and then we'll have the best possible pictures when we advertise it.
It's difficult to get good pictures and to get the
It's critical.
right feedback.
It's critical. It's absolutely critical.
That's actually just my point where you take pictures and then you see what
So this is something that people, for some reason, bring up. It's not the first or second time I've heard this, where they think that the pictures are going to make them so good, edit them to make the house look different than it actually is. People are going to show up and be disappointed. It's like a real concern that people have. So, you know, I don't know why that comes up so much, but, you know, you can just explain that it's, you know, they're going to make it look good, but it's going to be still a fair representation, right?
Or we're not gonna Photoshop it. We're gonna like
Right,
Photoshop
that's what I'm thinking.
in like new floors and new kitchens and stuff until look totally different. You know?
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that.
Or react.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I got you. Yeah. So we're she's not doing that kind of photoshopping. Yeah, no. It's just no. It's not like no. She's just the best possible light. So like the lighting will be perfect. So everything looks the way it is, but it looks as good as it can, right? So it's not like people aren't going to show up and be like, "Is this the same house?"
It's not like it's not
Yeah.
like a bride when you take pictures of a bride and do it in there.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this way. That's what you mean. That like it's like he's right, you know.
Yeah, it should not be that way because you don't want to mislead anybody.
Right.
Because otherwise, it's sort of a useless exercise.
Yeah.
Because you do want to provide like a realistic.
So, we want them to get like realistic.
Yeah, but we also want them to look nice too. Right.
And I mean, let's be honest, if I see pictures and I see it nice and I come to the house, I look at the bathroom, bathroom is 64.
That's okay.
It's like,
That's okay, because we're going to take a picture of the bathroom. We'll just have everything in it will be neat and clean. It's still going to be from 1964, but it's going to look as good as the bathroom can look, right? It's not like we're going to Photoshop and all of a sudden it's going to be like a jacuzzi in there, you know, like.
Maybe one window time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So, and believe me, yours is not the only house. My wife and I lived in a 1941 Cape Cod in Arlington. One of our bathrooms is original with the checkerboard tile. I mean, there's a lot of old houses in this area. Like this house is much more than our house. So
Yeah, and actually our house looks a lot better than the ones that 376.
It
That's
does.
Very,
it does look better.
everything's very old.
Everything's all, and that's why I think, you know, that's why I was saying I think you're really more like 390, 405 is what I think. And I feel pretty comfortable with that range, but at the same time, I would still, if this is my house, I would still be coming soon to make myself even more comfortable.
so let's say,
Sure.
No,
Okay.
but how about another question? Sorry to interrupt. How about if you wanted to come soon and put the price line? Is say for
Sure.
10.
Sure.
Then you get sense of people and they're gonna like that price if they like it.
That's the time to do it.
You don't start slow.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the way to do it, because, you know, you don't wanna go like crazy. You know, like some people are like, let's start at 800, you know, like,
Right.
but like you wanna do something that is, reasonable, but maybe a little bit aspirational. And I think 410 is probably a really good range, like spot to start at, because it is probably, you know, it's a little bit on the top end, but it's certainly not out of control. You want to talk
No, there wasn't anything.
Okay. So like that is I think you know, she wants to, they're still sort of dealing with price. I think this shows some progress right from, you know, where we initially started, where they thought 410 might be low. Now at least we've sort of calibrated their expectation that 410 is probably aspirational. So hopefully we do the coming soon and it's pretty seamless. We do it for a week at 410 and then we get them listed at 399. So hopefully by having, you know, this like long belabored conversation about price, the purpose of coming soon, that it's just going to make it very simple and streamlined once we actually have coming soon up and are ready to go live. So, by any means. And then if we, you know, we'll say 410, we'll see what happens, and then maybe we change it to 405. You know, we can mess around with it a little bit. But she's right. The time to kind of go for it is on the coming soon. Absolutely.
We get the feedback quickly. And so that we can make this sustainable.
So there it's your question. So then this is going into like another segment. That we probably don't want to start right now, but about commissions and how much they net and all of that, which is, you know, we can do on another training. But so any other sort of thoughts or feedback, things that you didn't like from anything that was played so far? So that what you've heard is 16 minutes of the meeting, minute 24 to minute 40.
How about like a real example of another similar house? We started at this point, found that the feedback was, it's just like a real example with some real numbers that would resonate with them. I know that if it were me, I like real examples.
Definitely. So that's something that I think would have made that even better, right? If I'd used an example of like one of our own houses, like we had a house that we put it up and it was a little bit too high. I think you would probably not want to be going in the direction of saying we put it up at $399 and then we had something that we listed at $450, you know, like kind of maybe the other way. But doing an example of one of our own houses, I agree, would have been probably made that better.
Because, you know, I still have a question in my own mind about how these coming soons work. I haven't been through that yet. So if you price a house at a certain price, okay, quickly, what is that? 1 day, 2 days? Does that, I mean, you can tell by the clicks. If you get 150 clicks, then chances are the house is either priced right or what? Even a little low. At what ranges do you?
Like I usually say like I need 120 here. I said 100, but that's I think that's about right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably 70 to 100, probably right.
Okay, and
Because
then
you can use any number in that range.
you actually make the change on Zillow, whether you make the adjustment, and then from that point, you look at the activity, right?
Right. You see how many views it has after that,
Okay.
how many saves,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. And so So that's like 24, 48 hours.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, it happens pretty much immediately.
Okay.
I mean, you'll get a little bump when you make the change, and then a level back down to whatever the level is of activity that it is actually getting. Yeah, I mean, you can make a couple changes in a week. Yeah, I mean, and the reality is that, you know, it's not a perfect tool. I mean, sometimes depending on the area, the views are just going to be low, the views are just going to be high. It doesn't necessarily mean the price is too low or too high. So it's a little bit area specific too, but you know, you can use the 70 to 100 range as like a rule of thumb.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say to the sophisticated homeowner that's saying, hey, you know, what if our clicks aren't sufficient and or the clicks are strong and you up the price and someone decides to submit an offer at their original price? Who would you know, do we still have to sell the house at that price?
Well, it's not live yet. So, whatever, you know, all of the.
I know that. What would you say to the homeowner that's asking that
Oh, okay.
question?
Yes,
The
I
price
would
is
just
moving
say,
around. What if we're getting offers and people
No.
that are committed to that?
the purpose of this is to figure out what the asking price is going to be.
Mhm.
And then once we figure that out, that's what we'll ask for when it goes on the MLS. That's all that matters, is what it's set on the MLS. So somebody can put in an offer that's lower than asking, but if it's a truly competitive price, then we're not going to, you know, that's not going to be a competitive offer.
Okay. So you're just basically telling me we wouldn't consider the pricing. We wouldn't consider the offer at a price that's lower than what we think.
Yeah, with the caveat that assuming it's price right. Kara, is there anything else from this meeting that that was helpful, not helpful, that you thought was good, not good, not just from this recording, but from the whole meeting?
From the whole meeting, overall, I thought it was good because it was comprehensive. They were engaged. They were asking a lot of questions, which is, you know, what you want. I think that meeting went as well as it could have gone. And now what I'm trying to do is on follow through, be immediate. Friday, Monday morning, I was on the phone with Nicole, getting those arrangements
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, that's good.
And so follow through is going to be real important. So I'm all over it.
Anything else from the meeting itself?
I thought rapport was great. I'm trying to think. I mean, I can't really, other than, maybe an example or two.
You tuned me out, right? By like minute 30, you were like,
No, I was engaged too.
I would have tuned myself out.
No, it was good. I liked your demeanor, low and slow. Just, not excited, not,
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, I don't know another way to make the meetings last. Make those meetings last and for long enough that
that was a
you're
2-hour
actually
meeting.
building rapport, other than to go like pretty slowly, kind of over-explain a lot of things, and not necessarily be. You want to be clear, but you don't have to be succinct.
Do you want to take 5 minutes and then have them? So another thing is like just the confidence that he has when he's just like answering questions, even when he doesn't know really what he's talking about. Most of the time he does, fortunately, but there's sometimes and especially when you're new, there's sometimes when you're not going to know what you're talking about. You still just want to be confident in the way that you're delivering your response. And so, well, let's like pick, for like 5 minutes or whatever people can do it, just pick an item in the office and for 30 seconds, just describe it.
Yeah.
Even if you're making shit up, it doesn't matter if you know things about it. That's fine too. Right, so like for example, like, okay, this is like the Brother X300 printer. It has 34 page per minute, output. It has a double-sided scanner on the top where you can scan both the front and the back side in full color. It weighs 47 pounds. It was rated 4.5 stars on Amazon with 50 5-star reviews, and it was rated as the second best business printer under $300. by CNAP. Something like that, for example. So anything in the office, just like pick something like Andrew's Chukka boots. These are mid-level Chukka boots purchased at Steve Madden for $24. He was overpaid. It has a cork sole on the bottom, excellent for traction. Also very stylish. He has twined laces in the shoes, which are very durable. Also match perfectly with the overall brown motif of the shoes themselves. Extremely stylish, excellent choice, Andrew.
Thank you.
I don't know. So like as an example, I mean, stupid shit, right? But like the idea is that you can just say, you just sound confident even if you're making stuff up. There's sometimes you kind of have to. You try not to, but like if you don't know the answer, if it's not an important thing, or you have to just fill in some stuff, then you just do it. But at least you want to sound confident when you're doing it.
And you can do that in part by adding in descriptive stuff like John did more for your shoes, or on the printer. You're like, one of the things I really like about this printer is the handle, to open the paper tray. If you don't know all the stats about the printer or how much it costs, you want to do the best you can, but you can also, in those situations, kind of add in some filler description too, as a way to be confident and provide a response.
All right, so let's have somebody do it. It's kind of awkward, but whatever. Who wants to volunteer? Berta?
I volunteer.
All right.
All right, Berta.
Voluntold. Let's go. Let's take Tony's flannel shirt.
Yes.
It's a very busy shirt. No, okay, let me start over here. That's actually a very popular shirt I've seen. I like the slim shoulder cut of the shirt. I also appreciate how when his arms in a vertical positioning, the lines in the torso almost line up with those on his arms. You know what? I'm having a hard time with this.
That's the right idea.
I've also noticed that it's difficult for me to often find collar shirts in department stores where the collars stay in place and stuff like those without having the actual collar stays. I'm spending a ton of dollars on collar stays these days. So I would probably, I have a tendency to do the same thing.
That's right.
That's
usually
easy to do.
It's tough, especially in front of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes it hard. Markle Bear?
Marco Aurelius?
What your favorite poster?
Of course. That's a poster. It's made of really good quality paper. There's seams in it. It's one solid piece. The quality of the ink they use is a matte as opposed to the high gloss finish, which gives it a certain, quality that really makes you feel like you're right there looking at the cat and just hoping that he hangs in there. Definitely kind of concerned because it looks like that string he's hanging on to isn't very strong. I guess the cat probably only weighs a couple pounds at this point, but he looks like he's still enjoying himself. He doesn't look like he's phased at all. He feels confident he's going to land on his feet. And that's just backed up by the exclamation mark at the end of the sentence saying, "Hang in there." And it's beautifully posted right up next to my map with those 4 thumbtacks. That just really makes it a great addition to the office.
Nice. Yeah. Good job, Marco.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, Baloney.
All right.
This is a Turkish Swarovski armchair. A lot of time with certain chairs, it doesn't give you that cush feel that you really need on your bottom side. So for those that have the back pain, this would be the perfect choice, as well as the ability to adapt the height to however you please, as you can see. And when you have that headrest, it just takes it to the next level, so you won't be uncomfortable in a chair like this.
Good. It's good. That's good. You can even add in, some stuff about like a 4-level, 4-level height adjustment feature. It also tilts front and back. You can even describe more stuff about it, you know. But yeah, I thought that was good. Yeah. So yeah, so we gotta come up with more exercises like this, but we'll probably do, you know, something like this just to get used to, because especially at the beginning, you're not gonna know everything that you're talking about super well. We're gonna be uncertain about some things you're saying. So just err on the side of sounding confident. And then if it's not correct or whatever, we can go back and, you know, fix it later. But just be confident in whatever you're saying. So we'll practice that, I think, too.
One thing that helps with that, especially with me, I know this works with me, is just knowing certain general statistics about things. The information that you went over with us about, you know, market trends and things like that, that's super helpful. And it demonstrates expertise if you can just rattle off real facts like that they can find themselves. But you don't need very many in order to, you know, demonstrate that you know what you're talking about. Even
That's good. What how did you use those?
I didn't yesterday.
Okay.
Didn't really need to.
Okay.
It wasn't that kind of meeting.
Yeah.
But
Just being able to throw
having
those
them in
in.
your hip pocket.
Yeah.
And just being able to, so the more of that you know I could, you know, have in my tool belt.
Yeah.
It's useful.
What kind of stats were there?
It was on the current market conditions, you know, like how many months of supply there is currently, you know, the number of new pending sales relative to like the 5-year average, homebuilder confidence, much other stuff. I recorded it actually, so I'll send it out. I recorded it, and it didn't work, and then I went back and I recorded it. You remember?
Yeah, and you actually have like a PDF.
Yeah, like a Word document with the data.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll send that out to everybody. Yeah, it's good just to toss in there again, establishes, like you said, expertise, and you know, along with just sounding confident, knowing things is certainly helpful. Yeah, helpful as well. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Andrew, where are my nibs?